Are you someone who's looking to get into the One Piece TCG, but EB02 is very expensive? Well, here's a deck that can do pretty well and is primarily a bunch of commons, rares, and a couple of SRs. Honestly, this Usohachi from the starter deck might be the most expensive card in the deck, which is a little wild. But welcome back, everyone. We've got Lim in EB02. Not really updating anything, but just having a lot of fun with it. And again, I love highlighting decks that are very accessible and very cheap, right? Because if we're looking to play something as a hobby, looking to just take something to locals, if you're newer to the game, this is something, like I said, you can build fairly cheaply. If you look through all the cards, yeah, we've just got some rares, some uncommons, and a lot of commons. And of course, there are multiple different Lim lists, but this is one that I find is pretty fun and just does what it does. You know, we're spamming out 5-6 bodies and just being aggressive like that. We want to take first. We want to start playing out these bodies as soon as we can. Just go wide. Sakazuki's or removal. You know, Gamma Knife's in there so that we can get through an 8-cost kid if they play it. That's why I got it at 2 copies. If you can bump it up to 3 or 4, maybe, you know, because we don't really have a searcher for it. Some people do run the Law Searcher in the deck for this. But, you know, with the card draw from Enel and the Sabo, of course, you can not always find it, but, you know, kind of find it when you need to. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying EB02. I just, with all like the expensive SRs and all that stuff, wanted to play a bit of a cheaper deck because we can have fun with this game, right? We don't always have to break the bank. I just keep thinking back on the secret rare prices. Oh my goodness, the secret rare prices for that Luffy. I don't know what they were doing with those pull rates, but my goodness, if you were someone who bought a play set for a green purple Luffy deck, my hat's off to you. That I hope your bank is not hurting, because man, between the Sanji puddings and that, very expensive. So yeah, if you want something to take to locals just to have some fun with, I definitely really like Lim. Before we get into it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to support this channel, I've got a TCG player link in the description if you're going to be buying cards anyway. Clicking the link just helps support me. And I've got a coupon code for Nen Garden, Straw Hat Pekin for 5% off any of their playmats or desk mats. It looks like they're running a sale on some stuff, which is pretty nice. The discount code works on top of any sale that they're running, so make sure to check for whenever they're running a sale. Pick up anything. I've used the whole cake. Oh, wait, what's this? Final boss. Hey, I'm learning here too. I didn't see this. This is nice. This is nice. Yeah, I've got the whole cake island playmat, which I really love. Very nice stuff. Yeah, make sure to check out in the description. Use coupon code Straw Hat Pekin for an additional 5% off. And let's get into this. We've got Lim, green and purple, 4 life leader, 5k power with the Odyssey type. I recently did get the Odyssey game, actually. It's been a lot of fun. Your characters come out rested. A bit of a downside, however, there's so much we can do to kind of counterbalance that now in EB02. Activate main once per turn. You rest 3 of your Don. You can play from your hand. First, you ramp 1 Don rested, and then you can play a 5 or cost or lower Odyssey character from your hand. Really nice for 3 Don to get out of 5 cost. That's just good value right there. 3 Don for a 5. As you can see, we have a lot of 5 costs that do a lot of great things. And we'll get into all the cards that kind of help us counterbalance that lead ability, right? We got Sakazuki. He is a 6 cost, 7k power, but fairly important. And really what we want to be doing on our 9 Don turn is playing out a 5 cost with 3 Don and then 6 Don for Sakazuki, because he is pretty decent removal. He's on play if you have 2 or more rested characters. In play, KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Very important because of how many good 5 costs there are in the meta. We got Sabo. When attacking, if you have 3 or more rested characters, play draw 1 card. Of course, for all these cards, they do count for themselves once they attack, right? Or come into play. For example, Sakazuki comes into play, he's going to be rested because of Lim's effect. As long as you have 1 other character on board that's rested, Sakazuki coming into play rested counts as that second character, thus fulfilling his requirements. Same with Sabo, being his when attacking, checks if there's 3 rested characters. So if there's 2 other rested characters and then Sabo goes to attack, he then fulfills the requirement being the third rested character, right? Once a character goes to attack, that's when the when attacking requirements are checked. Thus, Sabo will draw you a card if he's the third one. We got Dofi, a blocker, 5/6/1, and then end of turn, if you have 2 or more rested characters, you can set this character as active. A nice way to kind of counterbalance that lead ability. We got Ace, a 2k counter, and then on play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, you can rest a 5 cost. Similar to Usohachi, essentially, but requiring 2 rested characters. We've got Luffy. On play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, choose up to one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters, or up to one of your opponent's Don and rest it. So I just put him in as another 5/6 to play out, right? I just want to spam board as much as I can. We got Lim, our searcher of the deck, a 3/5, look at top 5 for an Odyssey. We've got the new Newgate from set 10, so I guess not as new anymore, but 5/6/1. On play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, you can rest one of your opponent's cost 5 or less characters, and then KO one of your opponent's cost 3 or less characters. Obviously, these can be 2 separate cards, right? You can rest a 5 cost and then KO a 3 cost that was already rested, or you can rest a 3 cost and then KO it. We've got the Enel, which is our draw engine of the deck. If you have 2 or more rested characters, draw 3, then trash 2. We've got Mihawk, which is just super, super good. He restands one of our Odyssey characters on play for only 3 Don from our lead ability, right? So when you're going in for lethal, it's a great way to really pressure your opponent. We've got Nami, another 2k counter that on play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, choose one of your opponent's rested Don. They won't become active during their next refresh phase. Nice to keep them off of a curve if they're going to play out like a 10 cost. We've got Lim. This is what I was talking about, one of the characters that can kind of help you negate Lim's leader ability, because she's a 1 Don character that once per turn, if this character would be removed by the board by one of your opponent's effects, you may instead rest one of your Odyssey characters, but also end of turn, you can set one of your Odyssey type characters as active. So really nice to play this out early so that anything you play out on your early turns will just be active. It helps us prevent our opponent from starving us out by only swinging out our board, you know. And then we got Usohachi, 3 cost, 2k counter. On play, if you have 8 or more Don, you can rest one of your opponent's 5 or less characters. And then we've got 2 Gamma Knife, 2 Don -1, give one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power. This is our perfect way to get through an 8 cost kid, right? Making it 3k power for the turn to swing into. But yeah, that's the deck list. Pretty simple. Like I said, very cheap to make and a lot of fun. You're just going aggressive by playing out bodies very quickly. We want to go first, so we get to 3 Don and then can start ramping from there. Once we go from 3 Don to 4 with our lead ability, and then our next turn on 6 Don, we can of course play out a 5 cost with lead ability and then play out like a 3 cost Lim, which is very nice. So oftentimes I'll use Lim on my 3rd turn when I'm at 6 Don so that I can play out 2 bodies. And also Lim has the end of turn ability. If you have 3 more rested characters, you can set this as active. So again, pretty nice. But yeah, that's the list. Let's get into some games. Okay, we got Perona. Interesting. We are going second. Of course, they took that from us. So rude. I think I kind of want to mulligan. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what Perona lists are looking like now. Okay, we'll just pass. We don't really have a good turn 2 play, unfortunately. Or 2 Don play, I should say. Unless you have a 1 cost Lim, right? 6 at us. We'll take Rosinante. Okay, that could be really good to get rid of. But I can't get rid of it because I don't have 2 characters. Unfortunate. We might just play out the Luffy just to have a 5/6, right? Yeah, this could be really bad for us. They take. Play out Luffy. At least they'll have to use some kind of reduction. Well, if they just use lead ability and then Ryuma, they can pop it. But at least next turn we can play out 2 characters, even if it's a 2k Nami, just to have another character on board, right, to fulfill a requirement. I think hopefully by like 10 Don we'll be able to be too wide for them. Yeah, they can just pop this. But I'd rather make them do it than be able to do something else. Maybe they can put out a blocker. Okay, they don't. Ooh, that's good for us. Whew, and we get a limb. So let's go here, search. I can't bottom deck all three of my Sakazuki, surely, right? Because I do want to use this to get rid of the Kuzan. I can't use it now, but, you know. Yeah, we'll just use this. Gain arrested. Newgate comes out and gets rid of you. And then we'll just bully your life. Yeah, if they had Ryuma, it would have been really rough for us losing this super early. But now we can swing 2 6Ks at them, and then we can at least restand Lim. He can definitely remove something with Kuzan next turn, but we can also remove the Kuzan with Sakazuki very easily, as we can just cheat something out with leader ability and then play it out, right? But I don't really have decent... Right, unless we have something survive. I don't know if I want to use a Mihawk. We do have 2 of them, so if we do have another body survive, it could be really good pressure next turn to swing like 7k, because we'll be at 10 Don, right? So we need 9 Don for the Sakazuki leader ability combo. So we can swing 7k with like one of our bodies twice. Not bad. We'll see. They only have 7 Don. So at most, I'd imagine they can remove one thing, and then I don't even know if they can swing into another. If they play out like a jack. 6. Okay, so yeah. 6 at us. And they're going to remove that. Okay. Are they going to remove 2 things? I'll take that, actually. Because we can counter out of another 6. We got a brick, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're not going for our board. I'll 2k. Don't want to go to super low. KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 1 or less. And then Ryuma to get rid of that. Okay, so I need to get rid of you. So we'll just swing 5 there. Cool. We can just limb and get the dead card out of our hand. So we just actually just play that out normally. We don't even need to use leader ability. But I'd rather establish a Mihawk. Just have a 5/6, but yeah, I guess we'll just limb. I definitely kind of want Sabo. Let's see if they want to give me counter, or if they have counter. If they can't counter this, then we get to kill the Ryuma, but then he can pop one of our... Yeah, so I was really... So we'll just pop the Kuzan, and then we'll pass. And then one of our limbs can restand themselves. So now having that 6/7 is really nice. Obviously, we can't restand the Sakazuki, right? Because it has to be a 5 or less to restand with... But still... Ooh. Isho. What did he rip? A 2k and 1 Mihawk. Interesting. Well, now we can kind of protect anything. Well, not anything. Losing the 2k kind of hurt. Yeah, if he ripped out the... Sakazuki, that'd be... We'll let one of them go, for sure. Because he's going to swing 6 into another. Yeah. So we'll 2k. This is only rested, right? Yeah. So let's swing 7 at life. Go here, get rid of you. And he can't pop anything. We'll swing 5 and 6, and we'll play out probably like a Dofi. Honestly, I feel like if I play out Sabo, I'll prioritize removing it. And I kind of want to just keep a 5/6 on board so I can go for game with a Mihawk next turn. I don't think he can remove everything. play our that, and then we use Lim first, and then Dofi restands himself. At this point, I don't think he can remove our whole board with 2 7k powers, even though we only have 2 cards in hand. But we'll let any kind of swing go through. Again, I'm just hoping to keep one of these up. Ooh, Rebecca. Would have been nice to keep Usuhachi. But his hand size is also really rough. So we would have liked to play out Sabo, but I'm kind of hoping to get him to ignore this almost. Whereas Sabo would be a very high target to remove. Gets the Tashigi back. What does he play out? Oh, nothing. He might just be looking for counter. Fair enough. But now he can rest that. So yeah, hopefully we just let him survive. Yeah, he is dead. 10 and yeah, he's dead. Okay. We know he has a 2k. We can just hit him a bunch with 7s and maybe just get it, honestly. He takes 1 7. Hit another 7. I could have gone a little higher. We'll see, though. Counters out. Okay. Let's go 7. Unless he has a Hody, then we're kind of safe. And then we'll play out Mihawk, restand you. We could also just go 9 into Isho. Am I worried about dying, though? I don't think so. Lemon, our blocker, restand themselves. Because we got him down to 1 life, or 0 life. There's no life there. And we still have another Mihawk. So as long as one of our bodies lives, we can get 3 swings next turn. So even if he puts up a blocker with only 4 at hand, I don't know. He gave us a few 2Ks. But with the Dawn there, he can, yeah. He just get rid of anything, essentially by swinging into it and resting it. Yeah, I feel like Perona was like one of those decks that just got really hurt by the Gecko ban and the Ice Age ban. Poor Perona. What does she do to deserve it, you know? There's always a casualty, right? Yep, sure. But is there a way he can remove a 0 cost? Yeah, of course. But if you remove this, then you probably don't establish a blocker unless it's another Rebecca. If it's another Rebecca, yeah, that does suck. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think we win, right? We'll just go 9. He's got a blocker. I don't know if what the 2 Dawn is for. It's actually kind of... I probably could have did that a lot more efficiently, for sure, but you never know. I don't know what the 2 Dawn is for. GG. Sorry about that. I should have just swung in, but I didn't know if they had like a I don't know what would have saved them, to be honest. I get too nervous about leaving Dawn open in matches where you don't typically leave Dawn open, but fair enough. We got Teach, and we get to take first. We will mulligan because I'm greedy, and I was wrong to be greedy. Okay, and the stage coming out. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see a lot of people playing some of these decks just in anticipation of the star decks, right? Because why not? Hopefully he can't really remove the Sabo on 4 Dawn. What did he pick up with the full lead? I don't see. Wait, no, he didn't search with it. Yeah, because he didn't discard a card. 7 will counter 2. Toy Soldier. Okay. No on plays. Rude. We will play out Nami just to have a character out, right? For Sabo's effect. We'll play out you. And we'll go 6 of life, draw a card. Cool. And then we'll go another 6 of life. I shouldn't have played out all the characters, obviously. Yeah, because he's going to get a finger pistol off the first life. Because that's my luck. And then we'll pass. Yeah, that's just my luck. But is what it is. You know, he's already down to 2 life, which is kind of crazy. But I guess he's set himself up to remove the Sabo with the Toy Soldier. Pitching pretty early on, but fair enough, because Lim obviously ramps very fast and can... If I had the new gate out on that turn, I could have just removed that Toy Soldier, right? Which would have been really nice to get rid of. Having him waste a 2k counter. But him turning off the lead ability. He did lose out on a 10 beard, right? And he trashes the Shiryu to search and picks up the Vasco shot. So we want to protect the Sabo, but not too many cards, obviously, because then it's not super worth it. But him kind of starving us out always hurts. 5 at Nami. Sure. Kuzan. Lafitte. Okay, never mind. What do we do? Lim. Let's go 5 of life. So we can play out Lim. And then 2 characters. Our hand size will be pretty low then, though. But honestly, yeah, maybe we just swing a little higher. Maybe we keep the Lim in. Let's play out our blocker. It really does suck that we have to play these out to get the Sabo effect. We got a Gamma Knife. That could actually really help. If he has the 10 beard on board. Because then he won't be able to as freely block out with it, right? We could possibly swing over the 10 beard with that. He picks up some Burgess. Right, the Lim could have helped us with this, but you know, you know what I mean, right? 6 will counter 1. So it helped us out in the end anyway. Is he gonna play out okay, he plays out the Van Auger, so he can get rid of anything with the Doc Q. And then maybe play out a Burgess. Gets rid of my Sabo. Cry. 4 Dawn. 5 of us will definitely take. 4 Dawn for Burgess. I feel like I just win this next turn, right? He picks up a 2k counter. We still have 3 swings. He has no blockers. We can't restand anything, obviously, but we can just go like 9 a few times. Yeah, we can go 9 3 times. Or just big swing, maybe. 13. I know he did pick up a Vasco shot, right? GG. But yeah. I think once the Blackbeard star deck comes out, I think this matchup gets a lot scarier for us. Right? That 7 cost Blackbeard KOing a 3 cost. Like, all you need is a Vasco shot, or not a Vasco shot, a Van Auger out. And you can get rid of anything in this deck, right? You can KO a 6 cost if you use Van Auger. And then you've got Doc Q out earlier, right? You're just controlling the whole board. And yeah, that seems really rough for us once the star decks come out. I'm still like hit or miss with the star decks. I'm very hyped for them, and I'm excited to try out a lot of the leaders with them. But it's like the unfortunate thing where stuff like Lim or like other like tier like 2 or 1 decks were already struggling in the set 11 meta, but now it's going to be even more so. It's going to just be like the, you know, decks we've already seen a lot of, you know, although at least Black Purple Luffy really hasn't been too much in the top of the meta before, nor Buggy, and those two decks seem like they're getting a lot of support from the star deck, so we'll see, you know, what happens. But yeah, things like Blackbeard and Shanks we've had since set 9 going on, and we're probably just going to see more of that. Don't know. I don't know if the Shanks stuff was super relevant to making him better in set 11, but from what I've heard, still, it's great to get support, right? Getting sidetracked. GG. Oh, we got Kalgara, and we get to go first. I think I want to keep just to show out the limb, and then the limb. So we can play out limb. Limb restands herself. Plays out the really cool upper yard. Picks up Wiper. Okay. We'll go 5 of life. And just play out limb. Picking up probably Sabo. Yeah. And then limb can restand limb. Nice. So he can't just swing at our board, which really sucks. Plays out a Wiper. Not a Wiper. Shura. My brain is just all rotted right now. 7 at us. Does he play out anything? Yeah, the 4-cost Wiper. The 2k counter. Looks for an upper yard. Upper yard. Pick no yard to draw. We'll take. And we got another limb, so that's actually perfect. So we can go 5 twice, play out limb, and then play out Sabo. Go 5. He takes. Interesting. What do I take? Mihawk for sure. Actually, what am I thinking? And then we'll play out Sabo. Pass. Use 1 limb to restand herself. And then this limb to restand the Sabo, because we want to keep him. Gotta protect our Sabo. 5 at us. I'll take, because we can apply a lot of pressure. We have so many 2Ks. Kalgara and Nolan combo coming out. Well, 2K. Oh no, no Nolan. But he gets the upper yard, right? Pick up the upper yard. Let's go 5 of life. We can get rid of you. My board too wide, actually. My board too wide for what I would have done. I can just go higher swings then. I can go like 6, 6, 7. And just use the, yeah. Play out the Sakazuki. Go 6, draw a card. We got a 2k counter. Perfect. Okay. Get rid of you. And go 7. And then we'll resend 2 limbs and then Sabo. Really nice board. Unfortunately that he didn't have the Nolan for the heal combo. He would have been at 2 life. Picks up a Nell. Interesting. I wanted to try out this in a Nell. I mean, in Kalgara, because I don't really want to play a Nell. I don't know. We'll go 1k. But I don't know if it's really what like people running. Plays out the Wiper. Bottom decks the upper yard. The upper yard. Pick no cards to draw. But it searches for a upper yard. I keep saying upper yard. I'm not even trying to. I'm really not. We'll go 2. I can't speak today. We'll take the 8. Nolan, so he heals, but I think we have just too many. I think we have way too many swings, right? We'll just go a bunch of 7s. He does have a Dawn open for, I guess, Elthor or Flame Split. I think there's a lot of yellow events in here, like 1 Dawn and such. Okay. Just counters out. We'll go 7 again. We'll go a bunch of like 7s, maybe a 9 in there. I don't know. I think we might have enough counter to survive. I actually don't think we would have enough counter to survive. Maybe we do keep open Dawn for that. So he uses the event. Let's go 7 again. We can actually go 777 and then restand with a Mihawk for another 7. That might be overkill though. 7. Yeah. Wait, that's overkill because he only has 1 card in hand. So we actually had math. So GG. Whew. But those are some games. And again, I kind of like with all these, I feel like I'm just going to go on more side notes and tangents about like the star decks and set 11 and all the meta and everything coming up, and like everything feels a little bit messy right now. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but like with the quicken release, it's really like putting it on you, you know, like we got star decks coming out in like 2 weeks, set 11's this weekend. We still haven't gotten set or star deck 22, the Ace and Whitebeard, right? And that's I don't know when that's going to be for us actually. And then set 12 I think comes out like August or something. I don't even know. And then like Premium Booster 2 comes out in like September or something. I don't know. There's just so much coming out. It's kind of overwhelming a little bit. But like in general, I like Lim. A very fun deck. I wanted to highlight it because it's a very cheap thing you can build. I don't know how good it's going to be with the new star decks coming out and changing things up, which is unfortunate. I love the ability to highlight a pretty good deck that's very cheap to get for new players because I don't know. I think about the new player experience a lot, right? Maybe it's just because I make content on it, but like I feel like even if you're just like somebody who plays casually or plays competitively or just plays the game a lot, right? Like I think the new player experience should be something you consider because it kind of helps with the longevity of your card game if like new people are coming in. There's the argument that like tournaments and big prize cards and stuff like that and the hype around it is like more important because then that spurs people to join the card game anyway. But like, I don't know. I was hyped about the star decks because I thought they might be a decent way for people to get into the game, right? They seem like they had some good support in them. Some of the decks around the star deck aren't like too expensive to build, right? I don't know if Purple Black Luffy is like crazy expensive, especially without like Gecko Moria, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Price point and everything, like in this day and age, it's something to consider heavily with a hobby. So I like that Lim is a cheap, good, fun deck to get into. It's pretty straightforward. At the end of the day, you're just ramping, playing a lot of bodies, kind of trying to overwhelm your opponent. Don't know, and I'll have to do more testing and thinking, like once the new star decks and everything are revealed, I think everything we're talking about in regards to the meta is going to change. So take everything with a grain of salt when you're watching content and like debating on what deck to invest into. That's why like this is not a bad investment because it's pretty cheap, you know. If you go to your locals and talk to some people, they probably have a lot of these in their bulk to just hand you out, right? But yeah, let me know. I think with the star decks coming up, that's like what's all been on my mind, you know, even with these deck profiles and such, because we're gonna have to think about playing into a stronger Blackbeard, a stronger Shanks, even though I don't know, some people have like said here and there that like the Shanks support isn't like crazy. Don't know, but still Shanks is still a very strong deck even without the support, right? So yeah, definitely a lot of things to consider when we're looking at like the meta as a whole. But in the world of Lim, in Lim's Odyssey, in Lim's world, still a fun deck, still can be decent, you know. As long as you get to go first, you're in for a pretty good time. Right? That is our whole thing. We are very good when we're going first. Very strong deck. Yeah, let me know what you think of the list down in the comments if you've been playing Lim. Are you excited? Are you fearful of what's coming out? Don't know. Let me know in the comments. Thoughts on the game in general, right? But either way, I hope to see you all in our next one. Bye-bye.